Hi guys. So this is take like 3 of this video, and I don't want to discount anything of what I've said in the previous takes, so I will try and be as transparent as before. I think I just felt like I was rambling too much, but let's start with a proper intro. So today is New Year's Eve. The time is currently 10 to 3, and what I've been spending most of my New Year's Eve doing is cleaning up my room, kind of setting myself up for a better 2019, trying to be more organized, and I actually like how my room looks now. Uh, I did try and do like somewhat of a vlog, taking you guys through the before and after, which I'm not sure I'll post because I think it all looks a mess anyways. But yeah, so I thought to do a video on what 2018 taught me. And I have also gotten assistance from a few of my WhatsApp friends. I'm trying to get better at social media. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. Yay! But how, and I got insight from some people on my WhatsApp, using my WhatsApp stories status. And yeah, so this is just some of my personal learnings and some of other people's learnings, which I think also resonate with me in some cases, not all of them. But yeah, so here goes. So one thing that I do recall learning in 2018 is that I need to involve God in my finances further than just paying the tithe. Tithe, by my understanding, is an obligation for believers, and every so often I think people tithe because they expect that tenfold, hundredfold return. And I won't isolate myself and say I'm not one of them because I am waiting. But besides that, there were times where I was like, I don't think I want to tithe this month, but I kept doing it consistently. And then because I was in a position to be able to give and in a position of earning, I decided to assist people wherever they needed financial assistance. But then the amount started becoming larger than what I'd expected. And within the last month or so, I've kind of had a voice echoing to me saying, you need to involve God in your finances. Yes, we can sow into people's lives, but we need to be wise about how and what we're sowing. You can sow time, you can sow words of affirmation, you can sow money, because that's also, I think, believers try to isolate themselves and say, oh no, but I can give this person advice, but I think there's, forgive me that I'm still going through my scriptural journey, but there is scripture that says, but when I was naked, did you clothe me? Where somewhat of a physical, tangible assistance would be needed. And so that's where I started trying to assist people financially. But then I always get this very panicky feeling in my heart saying that, like, you're just spending money. And I felt guilty sometimes, and admittedly, yes, Satan can also act in those moments, but it also highlighted to me that I need to involve God, gain wisdom, and invest, because I also felt that the team, I'm working in a financial institution, I'm placed within the wealth team of the business, wealth and investment specifically, and it kind of seems all aligned to say, I want you to learn how to invest properly, invest your time, invest your talent, invest your skill, invest your money properly, so to involve God further than just paying the tithe. Then secondly, this one, when I wrote it down, and hit me, this is like God speaking to me, don't glorify relationships above ours. And this one hit me very hard because I can't necessarily say I have an inner circle. I think I'm a very isolated person somewhat, and but I give a lot to people. I try to be there. Excuse me for all the ums. um, whatever. So I try to be there for people whenever they need. I try to offer my time. I'm not necessarily a go out person, but excuse me, as soon as I become more mobile, I will I think I will be a more in your presence type person, but where I can help, I try to help. And what I started noticing was that I didn't necessarily get the same input from those people that I put input into. and so that hurt, and it kept happening, and I can't say that I have an inner circle, you know, like I feel like friendships have dwindled and all that, and I got to a point where I was saying, you're the common denominator, you're the problem, fix yourself. I felt extremely bad that none of my friendships and stuff was working, but at some point I felt God saying, this is something that you're putting on a pedestal, you're putting relationships on a pedestal, you know. And I've never been in like those relationships, like, you know, in terms of boyfriend, dating, courting, whatnot things. And that was also something that was very important to me. And I guess what I learned was that, well, what I felt was that God is a jealous God, and he's trying to get me back to being one with him. It was hard. It was definitely a difficult lesson to learn, but yeah, this video is gonna be long, guys. Then the third one that I really wanted to talk about was that God can use whatever you have. And I think, I'm not sure if this is something that I learned this year or something that it first occurred to me last year, but if you're when you're looking back on your life, you could find things that really, really tested your character, and you find that you're assisting someone else with that. And for me, in my case, I struggled, we'll figure that out, with depression, and it made me be the inside and the outside person, because I didn't speak about it. I suffer in silence sometimes, and so but it made me more aware. It made me sit within myself and observe people more, and try to be curious about people, and ask questions, and assess, and try to assist them from a place of understanding instead of a place of judgment, or and it's, for me, it was just so weird that God could use something so dark to make me more sensitive to the human condition, let's call it, and be able to, because I've gotten some of the best compliments over the last year, where people will say stuff like, you are so easy to talk to, and I'm like, oh my word, you know. I think it also comes from a place where I think people thought me to be unapproachable. I think maybe I do have RBF. But so yeah, so those are my three. So I'm going to go through some other people's lessons that they learned. A very close friend of mine, he said that 2018 taught me that it's okay to give up on people who don't support your dreams or realize your potential. I asked everyone to elaborate, so he said, we meet different people for different reasons, and we do pretty much all sorts of things with these people. The possibilities are endless. 2018 taught me that we should focus on the people that help us get closer to where we want to see ourselves. It's not selfish not to let people off because they don't benefit you anymore. The second part of it is that sometimes we meet people that we believe in and would love to help. Sometimes these people don't see things the same way we do, and we shouldn't force them. We shouldn't force our way of helping them. You could be wrong. Maybe they'll learn at their own time. Because of the length of the video, I think I will just read through these people's stuff, but I definitely resonate with that one. Another friend mentioned that he said what he learned in 2018 is that God's timing is perfect. Even when you doubt or question it, when God's plan is in action, keep the faith and hold on until the dust settles. And I asked for him to elaborate more. He said, this year, cash and peace seemed to be very low in my life. But every time I felt like I was at my breaking point or extremely overwhelmed, I'd pray and surrender my situation to God. And as soon as I consciously gave it to God, I'd find peace. The bills would work out fine, or the time I felt I didn't have, I suddenly had. And he said, these were definitely hard lessons to learn, trusting God in tears because it honestly looked like there was no other way, and fighting depression, blame, and hopelessness. And then this is what hit me more than anything. And I didn't articulate this to him in the message because I didn't want to make it about me as well. But like, people try making that check on your strong friends thing popular, but the reality is everyone who looks like they have their ish together have to do it on their own first. The help never comes in the midst of the battle. Those storms are yours to conquer or fail. And like, all that he said completely resonated with me, because in terms of when I mentioned that don't glorify relationships above ours, I have friends who are depressed, who are going through stuff, and I try to be there for them. And then I think I wouldn't say for the majority of this year, but throughout periods in my life, I was going through emotional turmoil, let's call it, and it just felt really hard. And my way, because I was told by a friend of mine, we're not friends anymore, that I was too depressing, and that immediately shut me down, and I stopped talking about how I was feeling. And in this specific period of time, my way of reaching out was to ask my friends how they were doing. And it just so happened that all my friends were also going through stuff. And I would ask them, hey, how are you? And they would never ask me how I was. So they would just be rolling off. And so what I ended up doing was pulling within myself and deciding that I have to get through my stuff on my own. And so generally when something happens in my life, I kind of try and figure it out on my own, and then I bring other people in. So I completely resonate with what he said, but I also get, I remember there was a time where, because we wake up at 4 o'clock every morning, except for now on the holidays, but I put on an alarm at 2 o'clock, so that 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, and 4, so that it doesn't feel like such a shock when 4 o'clock comes. So, yeah, then I remember it was really hard that specific week this year, and I woke up and I checked the time. The time was like, it looked like time wasn't going, and I remember saying, oh my gosh, I served the author of time, and I went back to sleep. So I get what he says when he's like, the time that he thought he didn't have, he suddenly had. Another friend of mine, which, like, she didn't want to elaborate because she kept repeating the same thing in different forms, but essentially she said the things that she learned in 2018 is that guys think it's okay to play with girls' feelings, people are spawns of Satan, and moms are the best judge of character, or her mom is the best judge of character so far. So yeah. I can't I can't say that that's necessarily what I've learned this year, but I can relate to it probably in other parts of my life. But I can say that looking through 2018 and seeing other people's lives, that I think many people potentially also have learned these lessons, and not necessarily only guys are what word's the cheese? Guys think it's okay to play with girls' feelings, because as time is changing, I don't know what's going on. Like I said, I'm not in the dating pool per se, and yeah, so like I think it goes both ways. People are learning different things about the people around them, and yeah, so she didn't want to elaborate, so I can't say exactly why people are spawns of Satan, exactly why she feels that guys think it's okay to play with girls' feelings and so on. Let's see. So I'm just scrolling through the chats. And I did get permission from these people to share their thoughts. I will screenshot and put them in. And I think this one was one of the, I didn't even have to ask her to elaborate. She just typed it out really well. So she said, 2018 taught me patience in all situations and to act accordingly. I learned hard work and creating connections across the different disciplines. I learned to love and respect everyone fully despite their actions, but most importantly, I learned self-discipline and motivation. 2018 taught me to live and see life differently, and I've matured truly. So here's to more growth and success in 2019. And I absolutely love that one. Sorry. So I was reading at where the chat continued, so sorry. And this is the final one that I got from someone else. What did you learn from 2018? Don't trust everything you see. Even salt looks like sugar. And I just laughed when I read that. It was so funny. but it's also true. And so I was like, care to elaborate? She's like, I didn't know I was gonna have to elaborate. Well, I've just met people who seemed all sweet and nice, but were the opposite. I also know of people who come across as sweet, but they badmouth people behind their backs. And again, I can't say that I have learned this year, but it's definitely something that is hurtful to go through, because I think with some of us, our nature is to try and give people the benefit of the doubt and always see the good in people. And if people give us reason not to see the good in them, it kind of knocks your wow, my hand is shaking. It knocks your confidence in humanity. But yeah, so comment below what 2018 has taught you. I will potentially open the question up on Instagram. Hit me up there. And yeah, I'm hopefully posting a video to break in the new year about looking through the stuff that I put in my gratefulness jar, the things that I remembered to put in there. And they might just be like slips. But yeah, catch me again later today to see my gratefulness jar. Thank you.